Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm your host, Ben.
And I'm your co-host, Carissa.
Perfect. And hey, she sounds a lot better, doesn't she? Well, that's because, yay, we figured out what it was, and we'll talk about that in just a moment when we bring on Mike, because he was here for the for the faithful explosion of all things audio here on the show. But everyone, welcome into the program. So today on the show, we have a reschedule of the one, the only Mr. Mike Cermak. He is our resident tech support expert, and of course, he owns and operates techguy.org, where if you go over to computeramerica.com, right there at the top, when you see tech support, hey, it directs you directly over to techguy.org. And it's a great community full of very helpful people. And hey, while you're there, experience in the traditions of old, which is, sign up for a forum, help someone out, have a nice little discussion, especially in times like these. A little bit of social interaction goes a long way. So with that being said, let's also computeramerica.com is also where you'll find show notes, reviews, articles, past shows, future shows, podcasts, social media links, all that and more. And you should definitely check that out because anything that we do here, you can find it right there. So I think with that being said, Carissa, how you doing?
Pretty okay. How are you?
I'm doing, just dandy. Dandy is a good word for today. And yeah, it's I guess we should start announcing this now because there's going to be a few interruptions here with the program. The last-ish week, I think is there November 31st? Let me check here. Yeah, so the last week, the 23rd through the 27th, there will be no new shows. We will be doing Best of Computer Americas for that entire week. And then, of course, for December, as is tradition here on the show, great benefits because, Craig is oh so kind to us and lets us, take those weeks off. We are it's really great. Well, actually, looking by the calendar, the way that the days lined up, wait, this is November. Wait, here we go. December, we're looking at, I think we're going to stop doing shows on the 23rd. And then Friday, Thursday and Friday, so Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we will not have a new show. And then that entire week, the 28th through the 1st, no new shows as well. So, and then we'll be back at it January 4th. So just want to throw those days out there. We'll be sure to remind you as we do the shows. But there's a couple of days coming up that you can definitely expect, some of your favorite past programs. And we'll be sure to pull some of those past programs from, some of your favorite guests over the years. And we'll try to keep it relevant. But, it's not just going to be yesterday's show. So, okay, there you go. Everyone, you are up to date, and I think that's it for morning announcements. Why don't we go ahead and bring on our guests, unless you have anything else to mention, Carissa?
No, I think I'm okay.
All right, perfect. So everyone, as I said before, owner-operator, techguy.org, and of course, longtime Computer America correspondent, helps us with so much around here, and hey, we love having him on to, just talk about everything. So everyone, welcome onto the program once again, Mike Cermak. Mike, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. And so Again,
how's the audio going?
The audio is pretty good. I want to apologize for what happened last time you were on the show, and that was just a whole mess. But yeah, we got to figure it out. And in the spirit of what techguide.org is, would you like to know what was wrong?
Yeah, of course. I'm dying to know.
So one of the things, and I think what happened Wednesday was that Microsoft pushed out an update on the Tuesday night prior to the show. So when we came on to do the show, I assumed nothing had changed. And turns out Microsoft has this bad habit of, with the virtual cables that I'm using, breaking, or they don't even they break them by renaming a single digit within the reference code or whatever. So when the computer's trying to send audio to and from it, the whole thing breaks down. So it just wasn't working thanks to Microsoft, I assume.
I blame Microsoft for a lot of things. Anytime anything was working and stops working, it obviously was a Windows update. Even if there have been no Windows updates, I constantly blame them for things. If
I could find a way to blame Apple, I totally would. But Microsoft is the best I have right now. Maybe it was their new M1 chips. But I got to say,
I will totally accept that.
Yeah, and of course the worst part is that I thought, because I was so good about my hardware and my software, that I was like, there's no way I would need to save the receipt for when I purchase these things, these virtual cables, these pieces of software, and yeah, so I had to repurchase those. So no big deal. I mean, it's one of those donationware kind of things where you kind of donate what you feel like you. So right. After 3 or 4 years,
don't mind supporting them again.
Yeah, I might as well send them another cup of coffee. It's perfectly fine. But yeah, they actually improved it. Everything's actually running better, and I downloaded some other software that they had. I would like to say better than ever. I would hope to say so.
Wonderful.
Good.
Yeah, and then of course this entire week we've also been dealing with Carissa. And Carissa, if you wouldn't mind, just because hey, tech problems happen to the best of us. Explain what happened with your microphone.
So yeah, I think it was yesterday. It wasn't working at all. I had to uninstall and reinstall programs and turn the thing off and turn it back on. And turns out it's just the microphone on the headset. Who knew?
I hate stuff like that. Yeah. There's a microphone button on my headset as well, and I've bumped that before mid-sentence when I'm giving presentations, and oh, how embarrassing.
But even still, the hardware that I've got is just everything I was looking at on the internet was just wrong. Even the software, the Synapse software that it tells you to download, doesn't even look anything like what all the solutions were offering. So it was not even helpful whatsoever.
Nice.
So now I've got this blue microphone set back up, and it seems to be working a little better.
I don't know what your policy there is, Mike, for kind of old and outdated and kind of posts that are relevant, that were relevant at one time, but then they don't really update it in the best way. But that was one of the most frustrating things when you try to kind of Google your problem, is that someone says, oh, I have this problem, and it is your exact problem to a T, and then they come back and just have a 10-word post, and they're like, never mind, figured it out. Thanks, everyone.
Right.
And then they never explain how they fix it.
Oh, I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have had, in fact, I commented on one fellow just the other day who came back. He solved the problem himself, but he came back and explained how he fixed it by himself without needing us. And I replied to him and said, thanks for posting this. Someone will find this one day, and it will be helpful to them.
What a saint that gentleman is. But yeah, so before we get started with, because our segment, I think we're going to be covering a lot of news here in a second. But before we talk about that, Mike, if you'd like to introduce people to techguide.org as well.
Yes, absolutely. Go to techguide.org, or as Ben mentioned, you can go to Computer America and click on tech support. Techguide.org has been around since 1996. We help people with computer problems. You go in there, sign up for a free account, post your questions, and a volunteer will try to help you out. It's all just a community of people trying to help each other with computer problems. There's no membership to purchase. There's no anything. There's no cost for it. It's paid for by advertisers and donations. So stop in there, say hello. People are willing to help with just about any kind of technical problem. Most of our forums are focused on Windows and hardware and Office and networking and things like that. We have a couple Mac people and a couple Linux people, but a little bit of everything there.
Yeah, and actually, funny story about Linux. I covered this on the show the other day. I don't know if your users kind of picked up on it as well. It's so rare, and it's so rare that I felt like mentioning it out of, kind of out of just how strange it was. There was actually a security vulnerability with Ubuntu. A security researcher actually found it, reported it, and they had it fixed. And then like a week later, he let everyone in on it. Did you see anything about that, Mike?
No, I missed that.
So yeah, this is actually a very fun one. He found a way to give any user administrative access to any Ubuntu machine. And of course, you had to have physical access, so that's one way that it's not as dangerous as some things could have been. But yeah, if you had physical access to the machine and you had, let's say, a guest account or just not an admin account, he did this fun thing where he was like pointing something with the operating system that handled what users are tied to the account. And he pointed it towards something else within the Ubuntu system. I'm not the most familiar with Linux. Anyways, he got the operating system stuck in this infinite loop. And it gave him just enough time to go in. He had to change the language settings to add like a little bit more complexity to it. Anywho, when he went to go create a new profile, so there was like admin and normal. When he went to go create a new profile, the operating system froze for just long enough, or at least that part of it froze for just long enough to say, oh, there's no assigned users to this system. The first account has to be an admin account. And so they let him create a fully permitted admin account, and it had full access, full permissions on everything. And I thought, wow, that was a very fun little workaround that, again, you have to have physical access and access to an account, but you could get administrative permissions through that.
That is interesting. I had not heard of that.
I
was just trying to look it up. I'm not putting my fingers on it, but it's very interesting.
Let's see. That's Ubuntu. Here we go. This is actually, and of course, I use words that every Linux user is like, no, it's to become root and that kind of thing. But
I am root.
Yeah, Ubuntu fixes bugs that standard
Thanks,
users
Carissa.
could use to become roots. I know Groot. Anywho, this is the article I was referring to. From Ars Technica, if you would like to check it out. But he even gave like a little video demonstration. But yeah, it's
so how long does it take you to do that?
I mean, the video's right here. It's a 2-minute, 20-second video, and you can
That's
kind of
not
see
a good
him,
sign.
Yeah, you can kind of see him go in there and go into the terminal. And again, he kind of points these things to different parts and sets up the infinite loop and changes some language settings. And then next thing you know, reboots, and he's like, tell me about you. And he makes an admin account right there on the spot. About 2 minutes. Not bad at all.
That's not good. Yeah. No, that's bad, actually. That's really bad.
But that's what Linux users love. They love that they that they can tinker with it, and they can again, it's been patched before it was ever used in the wild. So also, I think the same thing could be said about Linux. It's been patched before anyone ever used it in the wild. So there you go. Yeah. That's a joke.
That's good, and it's good that the researcher did what you're supposed to do. Give them a chance to fix it first.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely went through the proper channels, but it was a very eye-opening way, and just, I don't know, kind of highlighted to me how rare this was and how fun computers can be, I guess, when you actually know what you're doing. Because I talked about it. I still don't know exactly what he did. So,
and to figure that out, I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, it's he had to find 2 different flaws that were already inherently in there, and then find a way to use those flaws to then get admin privileges. So it's not just knowing about bugs, but it's knowing how to exploit those flaws, which, hey, same thing happens in every operating system. So with that being said, let's go ahead and turn back towards current events, news, things like that. Before we go any further, unfortunately, Carissa was dealing with the microphone, and I don't know how much she caught of our coverage of the Apple events that happened on Monday. And Mike, I'm not sure what you caught of the Apple event on Monday, but I wanted to see if either one of you had a comment about Apple and what they announced at their One More Thing event. No comment.
Yeah.
Mike?
So I don't know. I think it's exciting. I mean, it was mostly the ARM chip, right? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, yeah. It is using ARM, and yeah, but it's their own processor and GPU.
It's their own silicon, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And I think it's not a surprise. Everyone knew it was coming. They were going to be doing this. And Apple has always liked to have full control over their entire environment. They want to be the hardware and the software, and don't want to be relying on Intel. So I don't think it was a surprise to anyone that's that we all knew it was coming.
Yeah, they have been working towards their own chipset for phones, and they've been doing that since like the iPhone 10, I think, the iPhone X, the iPhone 10. So it makes sense that they do it for their fuller fledged.
I don't want to be the first person on the block to buy one. That's a completely different chip architecture.
Well,
but I think long term it makes a lot of sense and will be probably no problem in the long term. But Windows, Microsoft did this for a little bit. They had a Microsoft Surface that ran a ARM version of Windows, and it was much more efficient in terms of battery life and performance and cooling. There's wonderful things about it, but the compatibility was a major issue. If you wanted to run older x86 programs, you just couldn't do it, or it was terrible if you use an emulator. Apple has a little bit more control over everything, and Apple has never hesitated to say, time to upgrade. So too bad we're not going to support that ancient thing you want to do anymore. So they're in a better position to be able to do it, I think.
I think the thing that caught most people's attention when Apple did their keynote, which is something that we always advise people against trusting too much, were benchmarks. And they threw out a ton of benchmarks that were just stellar. They were amazing. They were like 98% faster at this, at this task, and 4 hours more battery life, and 3 times the battery life. They threw out all these numbers and statistics that were really amazing. But kind of when the dust settles and everyone kind of comes off their honeymoon phase, a lot of people are asking, what faster than what? It's like, congratulations, you're faster than 98% of PC laptops. That's what they claimed. Faster at what? Faster doing what? Faster in what way? And faster how? And they use a lot of words and numbers that made it look good, but when you really think about it, what do they really mean? And no one's quite sure.
No, and Apple's pretty well known for doing that. I think we're just gonna have to wait and see what actually happens when these things start rolling out, and how they actually compare when reviewers get their hands on them.
Yeah, that was the advice that we gave here on the show. Was, as always with anything, you can trust AMD, you can trust NVIDIA as far as you want, but third-party independent benchmarking is really where you want to look, because as I said, like with Apple, they're going to design software, design tests, they're going to design everything that they can in a laboratory type setting so that these laptops and hardware look the best they possibly can. Yeah. It's not a real world scenario.
And you can always make statistics look the way you want, right? I mean, politicians are especially good at that. But even in the case of what you just said about the, it's better than 98% of all PC laptops. Like, well, what does that include exactly? Because there's some pretty terrible PC laptops out there. I mean, it's.
Yeah. It depends on what each company classifies as a laptop too. So.
Right.
Yeah, do they mean Chromebooks, and do they, of course they just kind of throw this big old blanket and say, all those of the similar price point and, kind of in the same class. And everyone's like, well, what are you even talking about? Apple, I think that, like you said, Mike, we all saw this coming. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen, but luckily, at least a few people are very skeptical of what Apple is pushing. And I don't think Apple's going to hit a home run on the very first, in the very first generation of hardware that they make, especially with integrated graphics. Because in my mind, whenever you say integrated graphics, that just means pretty crappy graphics overall.
Yeah, there are certainly exceptions to that, but you're right. You wouldn't want to be the first person getting one of these, I think.
Right. No, it's a second or third iteration.
Right. Exactly.
Offer a lot of, creativity to be used through Apple too, so they can, do a lot of other things with it too. Add more stuff to it, more functions, all that stuff if they wanted to.
Yeah, there's even the and like I said, like the last thing I want to say was that they are running on the 5 nanometer processor, which is a new one. I mean, AMD on the 7 nanometer was making big headlines. Intel famously still stuck on the 14, and Apple comes in with the 5. It was wasn't expecting it, but still cool. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about that. They're definitely going down the right path. I think it's the right decision for them. I'm just not going to be the first person to jump on and test one, but I think it's going to be good in the long run.
Next, you're going to tell me you're not going to be the first person to take the vaccine, Mike.
Yeah, I would not be the first person, but I probably would be early on that. The pros and cons to that, I don't know.
Yeah, see, there you go. Strawberry allergies. Mike wants no part of it. He's, I'm not talking about COVID. I'm talking about strawberry allergies. Okay, whatever. Fine. Jokes aside, let's see. Mike sent over a couple stories looking here. And I think one of the biggest ones, first of all, I just want to say Computer America on YouTube, YouTube/Computer America. I don't really watch YouTube.
What? Are you serious?
If a video comes about and it's hosted on YouTube, as everything is, like, I totally appreciate everything is hosted on YouTube. But when the amount of times I deliberately go to youtube.com and look for a video to watch is extremely rare. I'm so in on the Twitch thing. I have other forms of entertainment. Anywho,
surprised to hear you say that.
I am too.
I don't use YouTube either.
I know.
Really? I live on YouTube, guys. I pay the $19 a month or whatever it is for the YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
And it is the best money that I spend every month because I spend hours every night. Yes, no ads. And I watch so much YouTube. It is amazing how much YouTube I spend. Anything you could possibly want to watch is there.
You know, and I will say that Twitch has one that I think is like $9 a month, and Spotify, of course, has their own premium stuff. I got to say that the freemium model, as tiresome as ads are getting because they are cramming more and more ads into the free parts of their services, boy, it just makes you appreciate the no ad features of these platforms. It almost makes you feel like freemium is kind of going away, and it's soon just going to be pay for it or don't. I mean,
it is. That is going to happen, and I think that we're getting off topic here. I think a major cause for that are all the ad blockers.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have freemium stuff whenever everyone's blocking the ads. I mean,
I didn't even know how big of a problem.
Freemium. You just can't have free. Anyhow.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how big of a problem that was until Twitch, in particular, they actually got got one over on the ad blockers, and every large chat room that I went into, they all were like, "My ad blocker's not working. My ad blocker's not working." And the funny thing is my ad blocker wasn't working, but then I paid for it, so I don't even care anymore. But when I didn't, it was like ad 1 of 14, and I was like, man, they're almost like punishing people. I think what they're doing, Mike, is they found a way to circumvent ad blocker, and then because they know who has an ad blocker and who doesn't, I think what they did was that they actually doubled up the ads for anyone using ad blockers.
But that's not going to help. That's just going to make people fix their ad blocker all the more.
It's poking the bear, and I think it is.
No, that's a terrible decision. It's a terrible decision. That's just going to make matters so much worse.
It's what they're doing. So yeah,
it'll just reinforce the fact that people feel that they need to be using ad blockers.
Yeah. No. And you're right. This is a complete different thing. Anyways, my point is, as someone who does not use YouTube, I got to say that it is pretty big news when even I am alerted that YouTube went down. And well, it didn't last for long. YouTube is now fixed. But Mike, were you affected by this?
I was, absolutely. I live on YouTube, and I almost didn't survive the night. And thankfully, it came back up before it was bedtime, or I don't know what I would have done. I definitely did notice. Absolutely.
Yeah, withdrawal symptoms. Carissa, did you notice? Oh, she might have stepped away. Carissa? Okay. Yeah,
oh, no. YouTube went down. Now Carissa was down.
Man, the world is falling apart. All the best services are going away. But I got to say that, YouTube going down was a pretty big deal. And really, when you think about it, I could pull up, even our own website and a lot of other guest websites. Like we had a couple guests recently. Everyone just uploads their video to YouTube, and then they embed the YouTube video into their website. think about how many websites were broken because the YouTube player in the background wasn't working. Like, this wasn't even just about, kids not being able to watch their Minecraft videos. No, it was that and more.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Hi, Carissa.
Yep.
Great. Hi. Yeah, I don't use YouTube either. I'm still salty about the fact that back in my day, I didn't have to pay for none of that stuff. So I'm not about to give them more of my money. Forget them. I'm angry.
I like YouTube, but yeah.
They earn my money every day. I'll tell you. I think they're losing money on me.
I go to YouTube for things like game tutorials or like a music video or something.
How else would
like
you learn
that.
how to do anything?
Right, but I usually
wouldn't know how
really
to put my
first.
pants on if I didn't have a YouTube video to watch.
You joke, but yeah, about every time I have to tie a tie, the YouTube video for how to tie a tie goes up by 1.
I was talking to a friend of mine a couple of months ago, and I'd replaced a faucet in my sink, and he said, "Well, I didn't know you were a plumber." I was like, "Well, I have YouTube." Like,
Close enough. That's how I learned to cut my hair too. Actually, I watch a lot of hair videos. On
right? Yes. Fix the dishwasher. Trying to think of other non-plumbing things I've done. It's just really helpful.
Yeah, it really is. It's a huge resource. And like I said, it's even a resource for just, everyday websites that host media on there. So it was a pretty big issue when
Computer
people
America.
were. Yeah, Exactly. Computer America. We host all of our backups there.
I have no idea why they went down, though. I've been trying to find it, and I haven't been able to find much. Are you aware of anything?
It's Russia.
Carissa, what'd you say?
I saw the messages that it's been restored and they're looking into it and all this, but I never saw an official, and maybe it's widely posted. I just haven't seen it myself, but I was just curious what happened. Did Carissa push the wrong button?
No. Well,
did she hit the mute button on her mic and all of a sudden
it muted YouTube?
The whole internet goes down.
I have no idea what could have really affected that, because think about, and Mike, in your day job, you work with networking. Think about how big the Google and Alphabet network is and how severe something like that would have to be to bring all that down.
Yeah. And how many phone calls were being made that night?
Yeah. There were undoubtedly red flashing lights and, just panic at Google headquarters. So, as for why it actually went down, I can't even imagine. All anyone is saying is that YouTube went down, widespread outage, and since then YouTube is back up and they gave the all clear.
I want more information. I am not satisfied. I demand more.
We depend on YouTube, and I think a lot of people do. So for this to go down, I hope it's not an ongoing thing. I got to say that this was really reminiscent of when Amazon Web Services went down. A lot of people were affected by that, and this seems to be, just as big. But if I recall, the reason for that was literally they were trying to do a software update on all the servers, and everything got crisscrossed. So
stuff happens. It's easy to break things.
That's what I'm betting.
I just like learning from it. I like hearing those stories, and here's what we did and why it was dumb, and we didn't realize it.
When Mike is running the next YouTube, he'll know just how to solve this problem. When
I'm on it.
When his YouTube goes down,
coming for you, YouTube.
So is Vimeo, or no.
I got Quibi out of the way.
Wow, that's a name no one has said before. That's there you go. So, enough picking on all their competitors. Let's just face it. YouTube is huge. They at this point they're a public service. Just like a lot of just like Wikipedia and things like that. Even though you have to watch ads and whatever. So many people rely on it, and for it to go down is pretty
tragic,
pretty disturbing. And by the way, they mentioned that they're probably not going to give an update until they have it fully figured out. So a couple of weeks, I bet, and we'll find out.
Oh, is that it? I hope it wasn't like an attack. I mean, the fact that they're delaying it, if it was just like, Bob over there hit the wrong button, it'd be pretty.
Some random person was uploading their 1 millionth dog video, and it was just one video too much and broke everything. Someone's at fault. We just don't know who. So speaking of who's in fault, before we get with any of the other stories you have listed here, Mike and Carissa, there's a public service announcement. So obviously the PlayStation 5 just came out. For those of you who were lucky enough to get it, I even heard of a story of someone who went to the store and braved the infested people that is the retail stores. And even though they said they weren't going to do that, but anyways, they said that they got there, they had it in their cart, they turned around for 1 second, and someone had snatched the box out of their cart. So,
sucks to suck. They should have gotten there faster.
Yeah,
Paid more attention.
I think we know who stole it now.
Apparently.
I think this mystery has been solved.
Chris is over there with her box, just like, yeah. They should have been better. They should have been better. Okay, anyway, so the new consoles are coming out. So obviously people have a lot of new games. Everything looks cool. Everything looks better. But hey, what's better and what looks cooler than, well, hey, let's face it. Vaping. It's so cool. All the kids are doing it. It's all the rage. And Microsoft put out this little public service announcement saying that please do not blow vape smoke into your Xbox Series X. So just want to get that out there. I don't know who was doing this, but yeah, don't do that.
Is that a major issue? Like, is it any, like, are the kids these days, can't they just,
these days.
are they actually like going up and
It's for the TikToks.
It's one of those things where you read a warning label or a warning sign and you're like, what happened here? Like,
yeah,
why is this warning here?
Every time they say, do not pee on electrical fence, and you would think, who's stupid enough to do that? Someone. The answer is someone at some point was stupid enough to do that. Stuff like that.
I just saw a picture of a sign.
But how would you know not to do that if you didn't see that sign?
Right.
Exactly.
I just saw a picture of a sign the other day that was along a stream or a river or something.
Yeah.
And it said, no swimming allowed, risk of electrocution. Yeah. And it was one of those things where I looked at it, I'm like, what's the story here? Something happened to put that sign there, and I want to know more. So why are kids vaping into their Xboxes? Why does that hurt the Xbox? Is it more than normal smoke in the room? Or is there some reason they're coming up and blowing it directly into the Xbox, and this is a meme I'm not aware of? What is happening, Ben? Explain it to me.
So what it looks to be is that it's a troll. It is a way to fake videos that people are, obviously Microsoft is very on edge because they have a new console out. They want to make sure everything goes, smoothly. So when people get the bright idea to vape and blow the smoke into the chassis of the console, and then and then record a 5 or 10 second clip saying, "Oh, look, my Xbox caught fire." Yeah, that suddenly spreads like crazy. That spreads like crazy on social media. Yeah, so they're trying to fake it like Xbox Series X consoles are catching fire by blowing vape smoke into it. That's what they're trying to do. So, and obviously then, it goes viral, people spread the video, and of course, hey, money, I guess, would be the ultimate thing. How it would actually harm it, I can only imagine vape smoke, I'm assuming has
of course, if you're actually
humidity.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
there's nastiness on there that's going to stick and prevent proper cooling. Sure. I mean, I've worked on enough nasty computers in rooms where people have been smoking cigarettes, and you open those things up and they're just, all sorts of cancer growing inside of it and nothing spinning anymore. And it's just, no, don't do that.
I one time cleaned out my PC fan after having my computer on the floor, which I've since learned not to do that, with multiple dogs living in the house. And I swear a fur ball the size of a hamster just popped out of the fan for the GPU. I could hear an audible sigh from my GPU when I pulled that thing out. It was bad. So yeah, don't vape. Don't vape into your Xbox Series X. They are not catching fire. It's a hoax. And just don't do that. So.
Or anything else for that matter. Don't blow it in your computer. Don't blow it in your phone. Just don't.
Which is so opposite of like a Nintendo 64 cartridge, which, hey, that was just troubleshooting.
Right?
Maybe that's what people were doing.
That's it. They were trying to troubleshoot. Exactly. No, everything seems to be going well. And Congratulations
That was
to
such
everyone.
a good comparison, Ben. That was funny. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Congratulations to everyone who was able to get their hands on these things. They're going to be a hot seller this year, smoke not included. Okay, so
maybe you'll get a Switch this time. They'll be so busy buying all the Xbox and PlayStation, somebody can get a Switch.
There you go. Maybe the Switch will actually be in stock. That's a very good point. One more, and then we'll do something not Microsoft related, but because Xbox, Microsoft, that kind of thing. Mike, did you hear about this one?
No, I don't think so.
Here, I will put
Sentenced
it
to
in
9 years
chat.
in prison.
Yes,
For
a
sending out
software.
bad updates to their computers.
No. Well,
I think that's his job.
Well, yeah. They said that a Microsoft software engineer sentenced to 9 years in prison for stealing $10 million worth of digital currency from Microsoft. And then he tried to say, no, it was that guy. It wasn't me. And that defense didn't hold up very well if he's getting 9 years in prison. So a software engineer stole $10 million worth of digital currency. I'm guessing he somehow had the authority to kind of load on digital currency onto his Microsoft accounts or other people's Microsoft account, I'm assuming. So
$10 million. So it looks like, is it like gift cards? Is that what I'm reading?
So, and Microsoft has a store. The Microsoft store has everything from licenses for Microsoft-based products. You can buy partnered laptops, computer systems, things like that. Microsoft has a store that, maybe things like t-shirts and coffee mugs, but I'm thinking more for like corporate licenses, licenses in bulk, where if this gentleman was able to, kind of assign the currency to his account and then sell, kind of bootleg or, kind of black market licenses for half the cost, hey, he was pretty much doing this and printing money however he felt like it. So you mentioned that he, so he was tasked with testing Microsoft's online retail sales platform, but decided to take advantage of it instead. He proceeded to steal the currency stored value from the platform in the form of digital gift cards. The currency was then resold by the gentleman on the internet, and a Bitcoin mixing service utilized in an attempt to hide where the cash was entering his bank had originated from. Bitcoin strikes again. He even went so far as to use test email accounts of other Microsoft employees to help hide his fraudulent activity.
Oh, sneaky.
Yeah, smart.
He
Yeah, at
tried.
the same time, not so smart. That was a very dumb thing to do, especially because, they would go
smart
back.
enough.
Yeah, they would go back to the guy who's in charge of testing this whole thing, and they're like, hey, we gave you $10 million worth of, play money, and where to go. So I guess he's like, Stan from accounting. Stan took it. It was Stan's fault. Didn't work.
Stan.
Yeah. So
It reminds me, many years ago, I was working on an ATM machine for a company. I was called out to, it was just a computer on the inside. They opened it up and there was a problem with the computer side of it. And, but whenever the bank manager came out to open it, she, had to turn off the alarm system in it, which I thought that was an interesting side note as well, how the alarm system works in it. But she pulled out the drawer of money and had like fake Monopoly money drawer that she slid into it while I was working on it. And I was like, no, that's not necessary. You can leave the other drawer in there.
You can trust me.
Yeah. Just leave it here. I'll hold on to it.
Well, it looks like they gave him Monopoly money as well, except the Monopoly money was 1-for-1 real money. So I guess that was the bigger problem. So there you go. And they mentioned that over a 7-month period, he transferred $2.8 million in Bitcoin to his bank account and purchased an additional $1.6 million lakefront home and a $160,000 Tesla electric vehicle. Hey, Mike, we found the way Tesla works into today's show.
So he thought one would assist, like that's raise any questions. Colleagues aren't going to be like, hey, wait,
Yeah, no, I guess and of course his colleagues were the ones stealing the money, right? Quote unquote, because he was using test email accounts of his colleagues to steal it. And, correct me if I'm wrong, but like $160,000 Tesla vehicle, that's probably like, the Roadster or like the Model S, like the
got to be a high end. Yeah. Like a performance Model S. Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
there's not really a Roadster you can buy right now or for the last few years that's new, but it's got to be really high end Model S or maybe even a Model X.
Well, if you're going to do that, why wouldn't you get the good one?
Yeah, exactly.
Go big. Go big or go home or go to jail.
Right. So, and also they mentioned that the gentleman is a Ukrainian citizen who resides in Renton, Washington, and along with the 9-year prison sentence, he was ordered to pay $8.3 million in restitution. So, also, good chance after prison he will be deported. So,
good luck collecting that $8 million.
Yeah. And obviously, if they know where his assets went, a lot of it's going to go missing, but. Man, Microsoft not having a good day of it. So there you go. Okay, Mike. Let's see. So
I hate when that happens.
I'll go ahead and let you, Mike, because you haven't yet. Any of these stories really catch your attention?
Oh boy. Good question. Let me see here. There was one I wanted to hit, but I don't remember which one it was now. Sorry, I was not prepared.
And I'm glad I catch you on edge. By the way, just real quick, one of the stories that you sent that we covered before, just to give everyone a little announcement, Amazon Ring doorbells. It was the Series 2. It was the kind of the lower end models, and the only reason it caught fire was because people were using the improper screws to mount it, and when they did that, it was puncturing the battery, causing potential for fire. And they said if you stick with the screws that are included, it should not catch fire. The battery should be okay. There's no need to send your doorbells back. You're good to go. So that was that whole story with Amazon's Ring doorbell. So. Okay, Mike. Although Mike, unfortunately, oh no. It's my internet connection. Everyone, stand by. We are experiencing some technical difficulties. Perfect timing every time. Everyone, just stand by. So yeah, there was that story. Let's see. There was also just real quick. Yeah. Okay. So we covered a lot of these. One that we did not cover, and this is so unfortunate that this is happening like this. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so let me just change something here real quick. Hop off the local network. This unfortunately did not work like that. So everyone just stand, 1 second. Okay, everyone. So yeah, the network here went down. Hopefully, I'm hoping that it all reconnects and it's all good to go. But if it doesn't, hey, we'll certainly figure that out. Yeah. So now with that being said, another story that we could definitely do. And let's see that. And okay, we seem to be back. So we're going to go ahead and reconnect. Okay, we're back there, and now we go to Zoom meeting, and let's see. So let's see. I apologize, everyone. Just 1 second. Here, right here. Open.
I wouldn't have to be watching an ad.
Hopefully that works like that. So, hey everyone. Sorry about that.
Huzzah!
Yeah, the network here went down. Not a lot of fun, but everything seems to be back. We're running okay now. And yeah, there's going to be an awkward 1 minute pause there in the middle. But everyone, hey, welcome back into Computer America.
We were just relieved it wasn't us.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunately me. It's not fun.
I was telling Carissa, I've been having some computer problems here and I really need to reboot. And I was like, oh, nope, I finally just lost everything.
Yeah,
I was sure it was my side.
No. It was our side. But again, this is the exact reason why, and Carissa, you're not allowed to say, this is the exact reason why I have never on the show said who our internet provider is, because they are awful. Terrible. They're just like if somehow the movie Gremlins, after midnight, they're all dunked in water, they all been fed, they're all scaly, black, slimy things, and those are what I imagine are running my ISP. Those are the technicians. I can't imagine anyone good working there. So
chewing on wires, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, anyways, so welcome back.
Is that what the YouTube server room looked like the other night?
It had to be. Hey, maybe they had some nice experts who were, kind of working over there. But okay, so Mike, I gave you the courtesy of picking a story here, and which one of these did you want to mention?
Well, I wanted to mention and maybe you've already hit this, the Google Photos is no longer going to be unlimited.
I saw it. We did not cover that though. And so,
Yeah.
first time mentioning it on the air.
Yeah, so Google Photos is finally going to end their unlimited free storage option that they had. And fortunately, you've got some time. They're ending at June 1st, 2021. So we still have, whatever, 9 months before we have to worry about it. And anything upload your stuff really quick is really the point of it. But it's kind of a shame that they're dropping it, but not a surprise. Unlimited is a dangerous thing to offer people. And apparently they're still going to give the same deal, though, to Pixel users, is what I had read. I'm trying to find verification of that now on the spot.
Perks of being an insider.
Yes, yeah. Right. Well, and they have always had like this thing with Pixel phones that they would maintain unlimited copies of your full res photos. And I think they're still going to do something like that, if I remember correctly. But I'm not putting my fingers on that right now.
Yeah, and of course, we have done stories over the years that whenever a company says unlimited, unlimited whatever, people for some weird reason take it as a challenge. I can only imagine it's the same people that go to an all-you-can-eat buffet and they go challenge accepted.
Right.
It's Mike. I don't know if you recall. Perfect. That's just what we need in the background here. One moment, please. Sorry about that.
And I did find, by the way, it says if you have a Pixel 1 through 5, photos uploaded on that device won't be impacted. Photos and videos uploaded in high quality from those devices will continue to be exempt from this change even after June 1st, 2021. So that's a nice thing to know. If you are a Pixel user, as I am, then this really won't affect you. But for others, you're going to have to start paying for space if you want them to keep the full res version of your photos above the free 15 gigs that they offer you.
I have a question.
Go for it.
If it's already unlimited, let's say you have, you've hit that capacity and that kicks in, is that going to use up all your storage at that point, or is it moving forward?
Nope, it'll be moving forward. That's my interpretation of it.
I can only imagine
it says photos and videos backed up before June 1st will still be considered free and exempt from this storage limit.
Okay.
I can only assume that if you have, let's say they give you, whatever it is, 15 gigs or whatever. If you have, let's say 30 gigs and you don't pay for it, then everything still stays, but you can't upload anything until you make room. That's what I would assume is what they would do. But and also even beyond that, Mike, I'm not sure if you recall when OneDrive happened. OneDrive, and they had like unlimited storage. It was either OneDrive or Dropbox. Their logos are so similar, it's hard to recall. But anyways, they were like, unlimited storage. You're good to go. And then they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to be closing some people's accounts. And they were like, how could you? You said unlimited, and that's just not right. That's a bait and switch. And then like they let it fester long enough that they had to come out and issue a public statement saying, unlimited's okay. And, the majority of our users use maybe 500 gigs, 100 gigs, whatever for their online storage. There were people who were like backing up the entirety of human history. They were storing like hundreds
just because
of
they
terabyte.
Can.
Yes.
And that's the way a lot of, by the way, that's kind of a pet peeve of mine, is that a lot of online backup systems claim to be unlimited and they aren't. But one of the ways they get around it is as you upload more things, they slow down, they throttle you down, just like cell phone plans, right? You have unlimited data, but if you use too much, it's going to go so slow, you might as well not have it. And online backup platforms that offer unlimited backups oftentimes would do the same trick. Unlimited is not unlimited.
The phrase that we always say here is it's unlimited until you hit the limit, and then you're limited.
Right. That's right.
So and of course I will say that that's definitely atrocious. If especially for like online backups for people's computers, I feel like something like 10, 15 terabytes per user. If you offer unlimited and they're paying for it, yeah, that's what you can expect. 10, 15 terabytes. I think it's pretty generous for most average PC users. Most people shouldn't even hit that. But then some people were having like hundreds and hundreds of terabytes. And at that point, it's like, I'm kind of okay with chopping off the top 0.0001% of users so that everyone else gets unlimited access to this. That was always my feeling. Like unlimited, does have a point regardless of where you are. me, at least. That's always how I felt about that one. So Mike's just sitting there, just lips pursed, just going, I don't agree, Ben, but hey,
I
don't know.
Just extreme outliers should be neutralized and without
neutralized
sympathy.
I just hate the idea of unlimited. It's just like, tell me what the actual limit's going to be. Like even if you bury it in that giant legalese, terms of service, at least say, up to 25 terabytes or something like that. I think that would be a good place to start. But anyway, so Google, they're doing this. You mentioned, when was it, Mike? June, July? June of 2021. I forget the exact date, but June. I don't remember exactly. Sometime in June. Even
though we make fun of Google for, killing their services, and pretty often, at least they're kind enough to, just like the whole Google Plus thing. I actually got a form from a business associate the other day that they're like, hey, update your information in our database. And they still had Google Plus, handle. And I was like, not applicable. So they did not update their form, their contact form. So
no, they did not. I never really used Google Plus, but I guess most people didn't either.
The writing on the wall for Google Plus was that the gentleman in charge of running Google Plus spent about three years without posting a single thing on Google Plus. So the guy who runs it,
they should have just gone straight to Parler, right?
Parler is we have talked about Parler on the show, and man, talk about unlimited. Same thing goes there. They say unlimited free speech. Until limits.
Sometimes unlimited free speech isn't a good thing, like 4chan, and it's sometimes it's good to have a little bit of moderation.
Just a tiny bit.
I always like to, whenever this topic comes up, which it has lately with the with the election and all that good stuff, I always like to mention, of course, with on our website we have an article that we just rehosted, but it's from it's like the University of Australia or something like that. One of those nice universities. Anyways, and they were talking about the difference between censorship and moderation, and how moderation can actually, and I guess, Mike, you know this by running techguy.org, moderation can actually help promote kind of healthy dialogue and communication, whereas censorship is just shutting everything down. Like, without moderation, people actually can't say what they want to say.
Well, and we've been accused of censorship on our website as well. And there's a big, and they come and fight with me about free speech. I have free speech. It's like, well, actually not on my website. You don't. So sorry about that. The government can't censor your speech, but I can on my website. That's how this works. And so just like, on the show, Ben can censor my speech, but the government can't. This is not the same thing, people. This is not so complicated, but people are dumb is really what it comes down to.
Well, they're trying to connect things that they can, tangible things that they can connect the dots with. So that makes sense. But,
yeah, sure. And just 1 second, and let me just see if I got this right. Just sitting here trying to do the show. And by the way, Las Vegas guy in the chat room, longtime listener of the show, happy to have you here. So real quick. So Craig Crossman calling into the Computer America show. Craig, we're currently in the middle of a program. He hung up. Wow, that was very rude of him all around. Okay, then.
That was the worst call-in I've heard in a long time.
I know. Craig, do better. Now, with that being said, let's see. So there's that one. I have another story here. Unfortunately, my chat log was completely wiped. If either one of you have a story, we have time for one, maybe two more.
So
and I have
one little thing that was in there and that's been catching a little bit of news is about Amazon's Ring cameras have been catching on fire.
I covered that in the time that it went down because I was talking to myself in an echo chamber, but it will be in the video. Again, just a quick rundown was that if you use the wrong screws during installation, it can puncture the battery.
Can you blame Amazon for that?
No.
Is that Amazon's fault? I mean, I'm not a big fan of Ring cameras, but I don't think I can blame them on this one.
They did not explicitly say all the things you can't do. So I guess it
goes back to what we were saying before. It's like, why is in the instructions it say don't use a really long, sharp screw near the battery compartment? What happened here?
It says, do not coat in cottage cheese. Honey, we were going to do that. That's amazing. No, Amazon did not think of everything. So yeah, there you go. So there was that one. I wanted to do this one as well, just because it seemed like a different kind of way. And hey, new gadgets, we don't talk about those all that often because, yeah, well, you know, hey, there's new gaming consoles and things like that. But I did have this one here where a new device can put music directly into your head with no headphones required. One would think, wow, Ben, isn't that just a speaker? Yeah, you would think. But I think it's more of like a personal audio kind of thing. This was a system released by Noveto Systems, and it's called the Sound Beamer. And it beams music and sounds straight into your head without the need for headphones. The technology uses a 3D sensing module located and tracks the ear position, sending audio via ultrasonic waves to create sound pockets in the user's ears. Sound can be heard in stereo or spatial 3D mode and creates a 360-degree sound around the listener, and that is according to the company. So,
interesting.
I'm guessing it's like the ultimate nth degree, Mike, of... do you recall when Bose with sound bars was able to, you know, with like a little bit of fiddling, they were able to throw sound anywhere within a room using, you know, one speaker instead of five? I think it's like the ultra version of that, or so they claim.
See, I thought you were going to say, and it's beaming it directly into my ear and no one else in the room is going to hear it, that it's like laser pointing the accuracy of the...
Yes.
What do you mean, yes?
Yeah, you are right. Everything you just described is personal
No, that can't
audio.
be a thing.
Personal audio.
No.
But if somebody else walks in the room, what happens?
It's not tracking them. It's tracking you, not them.
Well, how does it know it's you and not somebody else?
I call shenanigans.
You call shenanigans.
That's some kind of weird. Can you imagine?
Magic. No way.
It's some kind of magic. And can you imagine how much you could screw with someone with something like this? If I have this device with like the voice of some evil being, you know, and pointed at Ben when he comes into the room and he's hearing, you know, kill Mike. Did you guys hear that? Hear what?
I
don't think this is a real thing. I don't believe you. It can't work that well.
Well, they according to the Associated Press, they sent an exclusive demo of the desktop prototype of the Sound Beamer 1.0 before its launch on Friday. So yeah, the 3D. You'd
have to be looking straight at it for it to be able to beam into both your ears, right? Because if I'm looking this way, it can't be giving me stereo. It's not really magic, right?
I'm guessing.
Okay, come on. I need to know more about this thing.
Is there a chip that goes in your brain or something? Like
right.
Yes. All you need is one handy dandy brain implant, and you can hear this too. No.
What's the name of this thing? How am I going to find it?
Sound Beamer 1.0 is what they're promising.
I'm not going to have anything embedded in my head that's a 1.0.
By Noveto. And they expect that the device will have plenty of practical uses, from allowing office workers to listen to music or conference calls without interrupting colleagues, to letting someone play a game, movie, or music without disturbing their significant other. Again, it's essentially headphones without the headphones.
But how?
Again,
like that's the hard part, is like wrapping your mind around that.
Yeah, they said that they again, these let's see, what do they call it here? The technology 3D sensing module locates and tracks the ear position, sending ultrasonic waves, whatever those are, to create sound pockets by the user's ears. Sound can be heard in stereo or spatial 3D. So, yeah.
Okay.
I need to know more information about the limitations of this.
Were you able to kind of pull out the company?
I can't find the company page. I have found many articles.
Noveto Sound Beamer 1.0. Let's see. So, and obviously there's tons of articles referencing the article that we're talking about. You still have
Craig's credit card number?
Yeah. We can buy a couple of these real quick.
All right. I'll give you my address after the show.
Yeah. Oh, and actually Carissa found it by just typing in .com after Noveto.
Boomski.
So yeah, that's actually very handy. So yeah, here it is. And obviously, let's see, application sound beaming, which you can see here. Two-way to hear audio. Noveto, we're introducing a third way, new way, patented technology we called sound beaming, entirely new type of, and by the way, just real quick, I got to say that sound beaming, as they mentioned in the article, is not new, but in something this compact, that is new and more of a personal application. With that being said, you can hear audio from a variety of sources privately and without disturbing others. In fact, you can even experience sounds 3D, as we just said. And here's the science behind it right here, which, so we mentioned small pocket, blah, 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 move your head in any direction, sound beaming DSP algorithm, pushed into the air via a custom designed transducer array. From the inside, it may look like a small speaker, but you won't hear anything coming out. So someone much smarter than myself would have to, Mike's just saying no, as in no, this is all hokum bunk. This is
when
you go to their website, there's a play button there to transform how we experience audio, and you hit play. And at least on my computer, it forces it to be full screen. You can't watch this thing not full screen. That right there tells me all I need to know about the company.
That technology-wise, and at least UX-wise, and they're not maybe the best, but that's what they're promising. So hey, check that out on Friday. If you like black magic, maybe that's how they really do it. They just don't want to tip people off. So everyone, we're out of time. I wanted to apologize for, again, my technical difficulties now. And everyone, thank you for tuning in on the show. Mike, one more time, techguy.org.
Yeah, go check it out. Techguy.org. All your tech support needs. We've got people there ready to help you out.
Perfect. So everyone, once again, computeramerica.com. Tune in tomorrow. We have the one, the only Mr. Ralph Bond. He will be joining us. He is our science and tech trends correspondent. A lot of fun. And hey, see you then. Bye, everyone.